Welcome back. You're watching Hivemind. Our guest today is Columbus singer, rapper, Sarob.
Yeah. Hello.
And what segment are we going to do, Graydon?
We're doing Under the Influences.
All right, lay a question on him.
We're in Loose Films studio.
Yeah.
They are responsible for doing the music video for the hit song White Moon of your
The hit
Smash
song.
the
song.
hit, the sweeping the nation.
Jeez. Yeah, Luce did that.
Tell us a little about that. Tell us like the process of doing the video, vision for it.
Yeah. Honestly, this one was like kind of out of my hands. I just like gave it to Ori and to Drew and Raj and Noah and like let them do it. So I don't really know what they did. Thankfully it worked. They got an award for it. So
Yeah, I was going to say it's
dope.
an award-winning video, right?
Yeah, I'm an award-winning actor now.
There-
Technically,
There you go.
That's
know?
exactly what it is.
So that's dope.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Do you have experience, like, did you run track in high school or something?
Oh my god.
Because you're running in the video, and there's
yeah.
lyrics that, like, hint at things like that, so.
No, I didn't run track in high school. I played basketball in high school and
nice.
in college for a little bit. And this is funny you said that because like the running was so awkward, and when like when I saw the footage afterwards, I was like, I looked too like focused.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I looked way too intense. Like it was.
But at like
actual-
the half speed and everything, it makes
Yeah.
it so much more dramatic.
Yeah.
So, you know, it works out that way.
Yeah, that's like going back and like hearing your voice on something. You're like,
Yes,
I do
man.
not sound like that.
I don't run like that.
I'm gonna
no.
watch this and I'm gonna be like, God, like I had no idea I sounded like a dweeb.
Hey, us too every time.
welcome
so
to my
that's-
life.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay. So, on your project, Seeing in the Dark,
Yeah.
came out last year.
Yeah.
I pick up a lot of vibes of like that you have influences of like soul and
Yeah.
R&B,
Absolutely.
but also like it seems to pair well with like, you know, like Chicago rap now, like Mick Jenkins, No Name, like that type
Yeah.
of thing.
They're brilliant.
Is that influence more modern, or do you just pull from the same influences they're kind of pulling from?
I mean, so mostly, like, honestly, everything I listen to, I have, like, a rule for, like, it basically just, like, whether it's timeless or not.
Oh, okay.
So if it's, like, older music, that has obviously, like, lasted or passed the test of time or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's, like, really where I try to draw inspiration from, because that means there's, like, a reason that it resonates even today.
Yeah.
People like No Name, people like Mick Jenkins, I think they pull from similar inspirations, but also like a lot of their music is timeless too. So
Yeah.
I am inspired by like Mick Jenkins is, to me, I said for a time he's the best rapper like in the world. Like
I remember
not
saying things like
Kendrick,
that myself.
not Drake. Like people need to put Mick Jenkins probably at like number 1, number 2.
He's definitely like in his own lane in terms
Yeah.
of like being poetic and
Exactly.
like not like he's never just doing someone else's flow just to do it.
It's oh my god, and he's so just, you get like a sense of his mind. I mean, for me, like lyrics are cool and like rapping is like whatever, you know, a lot of people can rap.
Yeah.
But if you're good at expression, like I think that takes true brilliance. So like we were just listening to Prince earlier, like that kind of expression, I'll take inspiration from that
Right.
and try to find a way to incorporate it into like my rhymes or my singing or like me doing whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
In terms of song structure, White Moon has that thing where it has like, you almost feel like the song's over, and
Yeah.
then it kind of like bubbles back up and
Yeah.
something happens. It reminds me almost of like, you know, like the Anderson .Paak song with Kate Renata, like Glowed Up, where he comes back, or like Nights, like Frank Ocean Nights, like when it comes back. Was that like was that your idea? Like we need to come back and like I need to rap like after that, you know?
So we were, oh man, this one was kind of tricky. So the song, I made the song like almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of hard to remember some stuff because I made like dozens of things since then. But so we were in the studio, and the producer, the co-producer on the track, Tieran, who's like, he did like a lot of the production on the project, and he was dope. I wouldn't be able to get it done without him, honestly, or at least in that way. But he brought like this 17-year-old kid to the studio who was kind of one of those like SoundCloud like producers, you know what I mean? I was like, and I wanted to get him involved just because I was like, yo, like I don't know what we could make. And then I think we just double timed it. So literally I just like played the keys like, and I tried to do it in like a weird way where like not everything lined up. I just like played it organically, like didn't quantize anything, and it was like kind of jittery a little bit. And then he just like threw some he like the 17-year-old like threw some like sliding bass in there, and like that was pretty much it. But it was, that part was just a product of me wanting to like explore and see like what we could do with just different people.
Yeah, totally.
And then that's probably one of my favorite parts of the songs.
Yeah, I love when it comes back in. That's just like, for sure.
Yeah, you definitely seem to like like we were just talking earlier about doing like a suite, like you're writing like a 3-part, like trying to like expand the format from like traditional just start to finish to like, it's it's not like showing off or anything, but it's like if you can put that outro in or add like that extra, that's like the frosting on the cake.
Absolutely. And like that, most of the songs that I like and most of the songs that I listen to from, like we were talking about the Isley Brothers earlier, and like the Ohio players, you know, like Southwest Ohio, gang, Cincinnati, you
River
know.
Valley.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, man, like they had music that would I mean, stuff would go on for like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And like I have music that that hasn't been released yet, but I try to push that like 6-7 minute mark.
Oh, nice.
And because that, it just like means something. Like if you can have something that lasts that long and it's not boring,
right,
and people don't even realize that it's long, like I think that's a sign of like true artistry.
Yeah, it's like being able to paint on like a huge canvas versus like a little vignette.
Exactly.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
And that's like what's
engaged.
like Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. Like I remember when that came out, that was like crazy to me that a rap song could be that good and that long and like just capture like just explain everything on one song. It was so wild.
J. Cole did that on For Your Eyes Only. I think it was on the outro. The outro is 8 minutes long. I don't even realize it because I'm just so in the moment. I mean, it's like cinematic.
Yeah,
like the way that he's just kind of like describing the story and having different narrators and everything. That's
brilliant. A great way to describe it. Cinematic for sure.
And the song is like a loop too, because like I mean, with music, sometimes like you can only do so much. Like you can change. For me, I'm in a mode where I try to change time signatures a little bit, which can be tricky. But like, there's only so many like instruments you can add and take out, and so many melodies you can change and everything. At some point, it's gonna repeat. Yeah. But if you're able to like, even amidst that repetition, like do something that's dynamic, and keeps people excited, like. Oh my God, it's like a gold mine.
Well, then they're ready for it to come back. You know, that's like
then they're ready for it to come back.
They want that loop.
Yeah, and that's,
for sure.
That's that Frank Ocean song "Provider" is just a loop.
Yeah, that's the greatest song ever. Well, okay, wait. I don't. That's a hot take. I don't want to do that. But
it's all about hot takes.
Yeah, that's what it's for. Yeah,
Provider. I listen to that song every single day. At least like. On repeat. Like I just have it on. I know my roommate probably like is mad at me all the time. But that is the level of excellence that I've tried to achieve with my new music. Yeah. And I fall short, obviously, because I'm not Frank Ocean. He's one of the best, like greatest, like artists of our generation.
Totally. Yeah.
But that song is the perfect song.
I feel like it flew under the radar for a lot of people too, because he drops like the singles now and he didn't release music for so long, and people are still kind of consuming Blonde. Yeah. But that song is something.
I hope people will be consuming Blonde for the next like 20 years.
Yeah, totally.
That's one of those things that's like it will last for a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something in that simplicity that allows like his excellence to show. Like just the loop on Provider is like it's like, you know, like just one brush stroke or something, like, and you can just see it so clear. He's not hiding like his excellence or anything. It's like right in front of you, like very apparent.
Facts, man. I mean, it's like I try to create this parallel with like music and like visual art, like painting, and like that's what I grew up doing. I grew up as like a painter.
Okay.
And like and I would like draw and stuff. And if you're like, I feel like Frank Ocean does that really well.
Yeah.
Because like it's not, his lyrics aren't exceptional. Like the music is like, the music's good. And like his voice, honestly, like he's not like the best singer.
Right.
He can hit a couple notes, like he's good at that. But it's his holistic approach to like creating a painting.
The strokes.
Yeah, it's the strokes.
Yeah,
I think that's what is so like fascinating about him. And I've tried to like get more and more into that. 'Cause like at the end of the day, like, and I use this quote all the time. It's from Maya Angelou. She says like, people will forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Yeah.
So like people will forget lyrics.
Totally.
People will forget like certain like sounds and stuff, but they'll never forget that moment where they heard the music.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and like that's why you can't replicate what Frank Ocean does or what like SZA does or like because they
Great
mean
example.
what they say, and even if what they're saying isn't like that important, it's like relatable and people are like know they mean it, and that's the most important thing in music for sure.
We were kind of touching on that earlier, where it's like that kind of comes from like learning like who you are, and like once you really get down to that, like if you're not like hitting the highest note or whatever, but if it's apparent that you're like really aware of who you are as an artist, like that just shines like right through. And
exactly.
yeah, you're definitely right there. I mean, that's like,
I mean, I'm trying to get there, and I hope the new music like showcases. I mean, when people hear it eventually, hopefully it'll be out by the time this is out. But yeah, I hope that demonstrates like how I've tried to just be more of like a painter.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to talk about kind of in the same realm is like how you're playing keys all over the project. Like after listening to it the first time, that was my like first question, because that's like cohesive throughout it. Like the keyboard, the tone and things change, but like you can tell it was the same person. And then when I found out it was you playing it, I was like, oh, that's perfect, because it's like the added element. Like,
thanks, man.
Like you're there even when you're not singing, you know, like you're kind of you're setting your background or like painting your background.
Yeah, like I said, I made this almost like, I mean, it was like 2016 for the most part, and we just had to like sit on it and get everything right. But so I wasn't like, I had never played keys on like a project. I kind of like had just started learning, and like my aunt was like teaching me, and my friends were like giving me lessons and things like that. So to me, it was like kind of rudimentary. It was kind of like just like basic level. But I was like, I can still create something even if I'm not the most skilled musician. You just kind of have to like use what you have and use your creativity and be emotive exactly. And that, I feel like that's what I'm actually like the best at, is just like being emotive and creating these expressions. So even on like, and I wanted to test that with the intro.
The intro is beautiful.
Okay,
like mood setter. Like
that's dope then. Cause I was like, I don't want to say anything on the intro. I just want to like create this vibe. It's like the opening scene of a movie. Like, you don't have to like see characters tell you what's going on. It doesn't have to be a plot. You just
like
kind of
imagery, sonic imagery.
Sonic imagery.
It's just an added like medium for you to like you can give yourself a break, because a lot of time it's about like the words you don't say or the notes you don't hit, you know.
Exactly.
That's beautiful.
So you say a lot on Bullseye and Relax. Bullseye and Relax, there's a lot of stuff on there. Now, I think it's on that song, and I might be wrong, but you say something about you're too scared to get a local on a track. Like, you're speaking from the perspective of like your haters type of thing, right?
Yeah. Okay, nice.
What is that about? Like, what I was wondering what
Where's
the
that
tension.
pressure?
Like you had this kind of, that's on Relax, right? That's on the second
that was
part
on
of
Relax.
it. Yeah, and you kind of just like you're kind of saying stuff like to like haters, to people who are like doubting you, and you say like too scared to get a local on a track. You say a bunch of stuff there, but kind of what was that all about? Like,
so I'm not super confrontational. I'm like
totally
mad like introverted, so I don't really like even like I don't ever have like beef or anything. But I was in the studio, and there was like a guy who had a session right after me with the engineer, and he was like yo man, like I see like you're like doing stuff out here, you know, like let's go like bar for bar. And I'm not really like a into rap,
like a rapper.
I'm not trying to like go bar for bar with somebody. I don't care. Like you can rap, but like are you gonna create like a moment? I don't care about that. So but he was like, yo man, like are you scared to like feature me on a song? And I was like, well,
daring you.
He was like trying to dare me, and I was like, I mean, I don't really like people in my songs, just like frankly, but that kind of irked me, and I was like, I don't know. That was just me kind of like expressing my frustration.
And it's definitely not like confined just to that one guy. Like there's that attitude out there of like daring people. Like,
and people think I'm like a little pretentious just because like, I mean, I'm not from Columbus and I'm not very social. So like, when there are like functions and like when like rappers know each other and there's like a whole network and stuff, like I'm always like on the outside of that because like I'm at home playing piano or like watching, like movies or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So because I don't like work with a whole lot of like other rappers,
Not in the scene like
kinda,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I kind of have that image sometimes, which is unfortunate. And I like not having feature, because like for me, like my vision is so, an artist's vision is sacred. Right, like that's literally just like that's your artistic identity, and like in hip hop, a lot of the time, hip hop kind of birthed like the collab.
Yeah.
Like people weren't
Totally,
really working with each other in like rock. I mean, they would have like similar musicians or something like that,
Sure.
and, like maybe like some background singers and stuff, but you would never see like like Aerosmith and like
The Rolling
Pink
Stones.
Floyd or the Rolling Stones. You would see Aerosmith and Run DMC.
Yeah,
or you would
or-
see Run DMC and another group. Or,
True.
you know.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
they kind of birthed that. And for me, like, I'm trying to tap into something that just has like super longevity and is just very true to myself. And sometimes like I can't bring other people in just because like they might not understand what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Or like my stuff is so personal and the story is so like cohesive that bringing in another person disrupts that.
It would ruin the
sometimes.
integrity of it if
That's
you're
it.
trying to be authentic. And I think that's like, there's like this newer, like rap and hip hop has like evolved to this point. Like originally, like the collabs and working with other people comes from like samples and like taking disco records and like spinning them. And so like at its roots, it's not original. You know what I mean? It's like putting a spin on something that's already there. But now it's existed so long to where like, you don't have a bunch of like you don't have,
I don't
you're
have
not,
any samples.
right. You're not sampling someone else's music. Like it's original music.
Yeah.
And then the hip hop part is like laid on top almost. Like
Yeah.
the original music is like the newer kind of generation. Like
Yeah.
it's evolved enough to where that's like possible now.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see like people exploring that.
Yeah.
And kind of now what we're seeing is hip hop's become so big, and hip hop is pop music now.
Yeah.
Where like everything kind of exists as its relationship to hip hop in a certain way.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to see in rock, in pop, and all that.
Yeah.
They're either they have like some sort of beat on it, or they're featuring other artists. Like they're like that's like a positive that's coming from it, is that there's collaboration now in those
Absolutely.
genres, and those genres can kind of like start to blossom. And I'm interested to see, what rock even looks like in 10 years.
Yep.
Like it's changing so much because hip hop just keeps expanding, and people think like, what's the next thing? And I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
man.
I don't think there is. Like I
Yeah.
mean, at least that we can tell right now.
And,
so.
and like trap has taken over too.
Well,
which is
yeah.
beautiful. I
Yeah.
mean, trap is like, I'm trying to find like the origin of it. I mean,
Well, there's a fight about that right now.
Yeah.
T.I. and Gucci Mane, they're going at each other,
Exactly, I
saying
saw
who
that.
started it.
but like
T.I.?
the new trap.
Oh, dude, do not do that on this. You will get so much hate.
T.I. Gucci Man's like definitely owes
Dude.
like way more credit to Gucci.
I think.
Oh
okay,
my gosh,
so
what?
What do we got? A
Gucci-
bunch of T.I. fans?
Yes.
Gucci pioneered
yes, we
it.
do.
Gucci pioneered it. Or no, Gucci was kind of like the engine. He like took it to another level.
Yeah.
I think T.I. he birthed like the term.
I think
Okay.
he left it. He left the like trap music too early to be like the guy who really
Yeah.
like Gucci's still making trap music,
He's
and
still
like
making trap,
even
yeah.
though he he is a changed person. Like we
Yeah.
got skinny
Yeah.
Gucci coming out of jail and everything. Like
Yeah, brolic
he's-
Gucci.
Yeah, like, he's straight up like he's still making trap music. So to me, I get why like there's an authentic look on Gucci as
Yeah.
like the creator of trap, but most like big hip hop heads will tell you like T.I. really started that. Like
Yeah.
T.I. started it. In
I think he
Atlanta. Like,
did. I think
yeah.
he did start it. And then he's just like he's like an interesting character, because I was watching like the Netflix like Rapture.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that yet, but
I was watching a little bit of it at a session yesterday, or like a couple of days ago, with this Columbus producer, and T.I. is like, he is a very complex. I mean, everybody's complex.
Yeah.
But this dude is like very outwardly complex. Like he's just a walking contradiction.
Yeah.
And it's like amazing. Like he's so brilliant.
yeah,
Like truthfully, but he's also like does dumb stuff. You
Right.
know what I mean? And like even in his art, like you can tell like he talks so much about like positive stuff, and then he'll talk about like other stuff, and then he'll like be like a family man, but then he'll get caught and arrested and indicted on like crazy gun charges.
Yeah, totally.
And so he's so fascinating.
It's like I think like I don't know. There's like implications I think there like with like the motifs of like rap and hip hop. Like there are things that like can be said and like will be said like almost inevitably, but like necessarily like the person's character doesn't want to be attached to those things. But that separation's like damn near impossible. Like it's like being like I don't know, like playing like a violent sport and then trying to be like a peaceful guy or something like those don't really exist. Like you can put it on for a little bit, but like it's gonna become like something's gonna overlap eventually. Like that's actually funny.